Member Saanich North and the Islands.
I'm overwhelmed every time I hear that clapping. Mr. Speaker, almost 30 of British Columbia's 52 surviving caribou herds risk extirpation. A dozen of the herds have fewer than 25 animals. 2 herds in the Kootenay region were declared locally extinct earlier this year. We know why. Caribou are highly sensitive to disruptions to their natural environment. Disruptions such as clear-cutting forests, seismic exploration, road building, oil and gas development, and land clearing. These are the conditions that allow wolves to thrive. Hunting in families, Stakaya is a proficient predator with highly developed relationships and an exceptional capacity to work together. The vegetation that once offered protection for the caribou and their food. With rapid changes to the land base, the caribou have been exposed. Exploration corridors, trails, and roads serve as predator highways, and caribou have had little time to evolve new food sources, skills, or tactics to protect themselves. The provincial response has been in part to shoot wolves from helicopters as a predator management strategy. My question is to the Minister of Forest, Lands and Natural Resources and Rural Development. Is the government planning to increase the wolf cull?
Minister of Forests, Lands, Natural Resources and Rural Development.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker, and thank you to the member for the question. We as a government take caribou recovery in BC very seriously, and that's why we rely on a range of approaches, Honourable Speaker, in supporting these populations. When it comes to making decisions about wolf management in BC, for instance, we rely on expert research and the science. The research shows that wolves are the principal predator of caribou in BC, and in fact, in May of 2018, the federal government, under the Species at Risk Act, said the caribou populations in BC were under imminent threat, not due to habitat loss, but due to predators. So predator control is one of the tools we use, and especially when herds are reduced in numbers to critical levels. But we also use other methods such as habitat protection, habitat restoration, maternity penning, and supplemental feeding. And this, Honourable Speaker, is because caribou are an iconic species to BC and Canada, and we're taking measures to stabilize their populations and grow their numbers.
Saanich North and the Islands on a supplemental.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I thank the Minister for the response. The real issue here is actually habitat destruction, and it's on track to get worse. This government continues the massive taxpayer-funded subsidies of foreign corporations to expand LNG and thus increase fracking and caribou habitat. We know culling wolves to reduce the pressures on caribou is just a band-aid solution to a human-made problem. If this government doesn't fundamentally change the way they manage the landscape, then frankly, Mr. Speaker, we'll have to continue killing Stakaya until they are no more. This government's reluctant to specifically protect species at risk because they are showing no restraint. Apparently, this government is okay with the short-term status quo approach to managing the decline to zero on a long enough trajectory that no one will notice. My question again is to the Minister. Is he comfortable knowingly committing a species to extinction by shying away from the responsible ecosystem habitat we need while spending millions of dollars to shoot hundreds of wolves so this government can continue unsustainable logging practices and to increase fracking?
Minister of Forests, Lands, Natural Resources and Rural Development.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Well, I agree with the member in that we've had to take drastic emergency measures to protect the populations of caribou that are left in this province, and that's because the inadequate patchwork of actions taken by the previous government that led to the threat of an imminent order, stop work order under the Species at Risk Act around habitat protection. So we're determined to take this on, Honourable Speaker. We know land use decisions impact caribou habitat and populations. We've provided $47 million for our caribou recovery strategy that involves a whole suite of actions that I outlined earlier. We also took the unprecedented step of putting in place an interim moratorium on new industrial activities on 734,410 hectares of land in the northeast of the province until we can finalize a partnership agreement with the federal government with First Nations in the area to address caribou populations and stability. This is all part of an effort, Honourable Speaker, that includes making sure that we protect this iconic species. It's part of the biodiversity in this province that we enjoy, part of the constitutionally protected rights of Indigenous people to hunt these animals. We're determined that with the measures we are taking, that caribou populations will stabilize and grow. Thank you.